My name is Jeff Spolstra. I'm a loan officer with Summit Mortgage, and this is Mortgage Points. I just learned this week from a study recently done that of consumers overall, only 10% of people know that you can buy a home with 5% down or less. Even people who are out there right now actively shopping for a home, only 14% of them know that you can get a home for 5% down or less. The vast majority of people think you have to have a down payment of 15 to 20%. And there's another big group of people who don't even know how much money you have to put down to buy a home. And that's crazy to me because a lot of people out there are misled, thinking that you need 15% or 20% to buy a home. And the truth is that's not the way things are. So let me take some time and dispel some myths here. So, what is the least amount of money you need for a down payment to buy a home? You're going to be shocked by the answer. Zero. Zero. Certain loans allow zero or don't will let you buy a home for zero down payment, 100% financing. What are those loans? They are VA, Veterans Administration loans, and USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture loans. Now, those are specific loans. USDA is specific to rural areas of the country, and VA loans are specific to active or retired military and reservist personnel. But if you fit in those categories or you're buying in rural areas, you could potentially qualify for a loan with no down payment. Now, let me also clarify something very important. That doesn't mean you won't have costs. You will always have closing costs. You might not need to put a down payment, but you will still have closing costs to pay. So it's very untrue that you can get away with buying a home for no cash out of pocket. That can happen if we use down payment assistance and closing cost assistance correctly. But it is not a guarantee. But you can be guaranteed of a zero down payment loan if you fit those categories. All right, what's the next minimum amount? Next highest minimum amount? Guess what? It's 3%. 3%. You can buy a home with only 3% down. That is if your income, your qualifying income, is at or below the Fannie Mae area median income, 80% area median income, you can qualify for what's called a home ready loan. Now, let's take an example. Santa Clara County, where I live, the Fannie Mae area median income number is $144,320 per year. If your gross qualifying income is at or below that number, you could qualify for a mortgage with only 3% down payment. 3%. Other restrictions apply, but if your income is on that low side, below the 80% area median income, this is a possibility for you. All right, what's the next step up in minimum down payment amount? Not much farther, 3.5%. You're probably familiar with FHA loans. They have a minimum down payment requirement of only 3.5%. Now, that too, both the 3% for home ready and the 3.5% for FHA, it's possible to get down payment assistance to cover that. So you might end up or could end up with 100% financing. Remember, you still have closing costs to pay, but you could get your down payment covered by a down payment assistance program and only have to cover closing costs. All right, what's the next step up? 5%. 5% for a standard, conventional, normal 30-year fixed mortgage, you can get by with just a 5% down payment. Most people don't know that. Most people are thinking, oh, I got to have 20% to buy a home on a regular mortgage. No, 5% will do it for you. Now, that might mean your loan amount is pretty high and your monthly payment is high, and you need to put something down to get that into a range you can afford. But you can get a standard 30-year fixed mortgage for only 5% down payment. All right, let me put another caveat here. These numbers apply to conforming conventional loans, meaning the kinds of mortgages that are generically purchasable by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the GSEs, government-supported enterprises that purchase these loans so that money can keep flowing in the mortgage economy. This does not necessarily apply to the jumbo loans or the non-conforming loans. These have different requirements. What is typical in the jumbo world is a 20% down payment. But that's not a golden rule. You can get a jumbo loan with only 10% down payment. I haven't seen one below 10%. May be possible in some niche corner, but you're still looking at, if not 10, then 20. So jumbos is a little different, but for the vanilla generic 30-year fixed kind of a mortgage, you don't have to do 10 or even 20%. You can get by with 5, FHA 3.5, home ready 3, or if you can take advantage of VA benefits, 0. All right. I hope this clears things up. You don't have to be waiting to save up 20% down payment before you buy a home. If you got enough now, let's get you into a home before prices go above what you can afford. Let's get you in there at a lower down payment and get you into that home that you want. Any questions? Give me a call, contact me. I'm, again, Jeff Spolstra with Summit Mortgage, and this has been Mortgage Points.